Hi guys, it's Michael, clinical psychologist at Grove Psychology. Today I'm talking about an issue that often comes up with clients that I see who have histories of trauma in their early life. That trauma might be with attachments with their significant caregivers. That leads to issues later on in their lives, typically when I'm seeing them in terms of their relationships with other people. And specifically what we're talking about is what we call a push-pull relationship. And the way I describe that is that you really desire the person to be close to. So your partner, you want to be close to them, you want to get close to them on an emotional level. But as they start to come closer to you, you then push them away because it feels really uncomfortable. So I want to explore what that's about because they're often what comes up in discussions with my clients in their relationships. You know, they talk to me about the constant fighting and difficulties they have connecting with their partner. And when we explore this process, they get this understanding of, oh yes, that's exactly what I do. So what's going on? Really important is this sense of wanting that connection. That's what we want when we get into relationships with people. But what happens is that if you have abandonment issues, so maybe a core belief that people will leave you, that you're not worthy of love, not worthwhile of being cared for, that people can't take care of your big emotions, then when you get close to people, when you start developing that connection and you've got to start letting people in, it becomes quite frightening. Your experience has been that people will leave you at this point. So in order to protect yourself, you push them away, you keep them at arm's length. Don't fully let them in. So often I'll speak to people, I said, do you let people in? Do you let them fully in? Is anyone who really knows the true inner self? And typically they'll say no. I keep them just, arm's bay sort of thing. They desperately want this, but it's so uncomfortable. And obviously it leads to issues with the relationship because the other partner is saying, you never let me in, you never tell me what's going on. I'll try to comfort you, but you push me away. Those sorts of things keep coming up. So we've got this push-pull dynamic. The other thing that also plays out is sort of testing your partner, not consciously, but unconsciously. Are you going to leave me? Are you going to be like everybody else? So if I push you away, are you going to come back? Because I really want you to come back. But I'm pushing you away to see what happens. Again, unconsciously. People don't do this consciously. It happens, it plays out. We reenact old relationship patterns. We're testing to see what's going to happen. But even if the person does come back, it doesn't really satisfy, only for a short period, and then we go through the whole cycle again. And eventually partners just give up. They can't handle going through this over and over and over. And the person I see, they know this is going on, but they have no idea of how to prevent it, how to stop it, because all they're doing is trying to avoid the pain that comes up, the fear that comes up of that deep connection, even though that they want it. It makes sense, particularly when we talk about it in this context, it makes sense that these people would feel this way, that they're keeping people in a safe distance. And what we talk about in therapy, amongst a lot of other things, is the risk that we've got to go through, the risk of having really good, deep, meaningful relationships with other people that feel good for us as human beings. That's what we want. And the risk that people will hurt us, they'll leave us. And I'm talking even in friendships, that people will move away, they'll leave us, they'll divorce us, they'll break up, they'll die, whatever it is that they do that leaves us, and that's fearful. But you've got to have that risk to have the enjoyment that comes with it. We could protect ourselves. We could keep everybody at arm's bay, keep everyone away from us, and we'll be safe emotionally. But we'll be unhappy. We won't get the same meaningful relationships. So this is typically what goes through in those the therapy that I do with those clients, presenting with those early issues, early trauma, particularly around abandonment or emotional deprivation. So I hope that makes sense to you, because you might have heard this phrase being talked about before, this push-pull relationships, what that means. It's something that's very common that I talk about with my clients. If you like that video, you can look at some of our other videos on our YouTube channel. All right, thanks for that. Bye.